Yeah, it's
formally.
7. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for today's session on Vastu. So let me quickly introduce CCFC and Adarsh. So our speaker for today. So CCFC is Concerned Citizens for Chhatarpur. So this was a brainchild of Aruna Reena Singh. She's sitting in front of you. Okay, and yeah, you can say hello, Aruna ji, so they can identify. Yeah, that's
Hi.
Aruna ji. So
Hi.
basically, it is an association, that we wanted to, better the life of people around us, especially in Chhatarpur. And when everything went online, then we thought that why not include everyone, and that's why we have now started doing some interesting, online meetings where we can try and add some value, bring some cheer in these pandemic times. And so that is about CCFC, and CCFC does a lot of very interesting work. We have, done educational work. We have also done a huge number of food distribution projects during the pandemic, apart from educational initiatives and many other initiatives to help the society at large. So, Sudhaji, you are not getting sound, so there is something wrong at your end. You need to check. I hope everyone else is getting the sound. Please type OK in the chat if it is okay. If you're getting the sound. Yeah, okay. So, Sudhaji, please check at your end. This is all okay at our end. And now let me quickly introduce our guest for today. So, Adarsh Rungta is a chartered accountant with a consulting, with the IT consulting experience in the Big Four. Okay, so Big Four means what all? Adarsh, it's IBM.
So it's PwC, KPMG, ENY,
Okay.
and Deloitte.
And Deloitte. So all the topmost accounting companies. So Adarsh, and then a chance encounter brought him to this field of Vastu. So we'll love to hear about this more from Adarsh. And now he's a consultant to multiple industries and businesses today. And he has a very scientific approach. I myself being a technology guy, and so Adarsh, is not the typical Pandit, doing Vastu, but he's actually a techie guy doing Vastu. So he knows exactly the principle. He treats it like a science. And the results that I have personally seen many of our friends getting is really tremendous. Okay, तो बड़े अच्छे results भी इन्होंने produce करे हैं, and he's totally result oriented and he's looking for tangible impact to your balance sheets and business outcomes. And at the same time, he also helps people with their residential and and other personal issues which are cropping up because of defects in our homes or in our living spaces. And again, he's on a mission to spread more awareness about this ancient science. So now I will hand over to Alka ji and Aruna ji for further proceeding.
Okay, thank you, Sanjeev, for this little talk on CCFC, much required every time because nobody seems to know what CCFC is even till today. So Adarsh has also been introduced, and we will start right in. What will we cover today? It's on your screen. What is Vastu? How does it work? General Vastu versus personal Vastu, Vastu for industry. And then we follow this with an open discussion, which means that the audience will come in and be able to ask their questions. Unfortunately, we will have to mute everybody else while this talk is going on. Otherwise, it will be too chaotic. So do forgive us for that. Alka is sharing the screen and space with me, and she will come in at the end, more or less. And Adarsh, this question is to you. Can we start right now by asking you questions? By my
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So
Yes.
everybody has heard of the word Vastu, and yes, you nod your head very knowledgeably, but actually what it is, nobody knows. So could you please explain to us briefly what is Vastu?
All right. So Vastu, I have noted my answers also. So in case some people are not able to hear it with clarity, they can read through the screens. Vastu is basically the energy of Earth. As Earth is rotating around the sun, there is a vibratory field which gets created in all of our homes. We are basically Earth vibration is 7.86 hertz, and that in different direction creates different vibratory fields. Those vibratory fields affect us on a day-to-day basis. All right. So the purpose of Vastu has been that across the last 4-5 thousand years in India and then thereafter in China in the form of Feng Shui, a lot of study has gone in terms of observing the different aspects of a residence or directions, or we will talk later about elements and how they impact us. So this entire study and the way of improving our lives is what is called as Vastu.
Thank you. The next question is, does this relate only to the principles of designing a house to ensure a balance of energy, or can we transfer it to other fields as well, as for example, personal relationships, mental health, well-being, etc.?
All right, so the purpose is to have a better life. If it is a residential house, the purpose is health, harmony, prosperity. If it is a business, it could be productivity, profitability, control of expenses. Vastu applies to anything on earth, or even if you have a flat in a multi-story building, there has to be a boundary. There has to be a definition of that this is my space. The minute a space assumes an identity, the minute you demarcate Vastu starts to apply on it, the directions become active. So it applies to a home, it applies to an office, applies to a warehouse, it applies to any space that you own or control.
Thank you. The next question is very pertinent to everybody in DLF. DLF stands for the society in which we live. And why I say it's very pertinent is because there's been, a set of rules passed by the powers that be, that now you can have a dwelling on a 1 acre plot legally. Of course, when the notification comes, we don't know, but we all got our fingers crossed. And there are houses coming up, but this will open the floodgates, and I'm sure a lot of houses will be coming up. So my question is, should we employ Vastu right in the beginning so that we do it right and we don't make mistakes? Or could we do it as we go along?
All right. So the answer to that is,
there are the IT geeks who believe in the internet. So they say, what is the point of having a Vastu consultant? We can save money, and let's look it up on the internet and we go from there. So could you answer that, please?
So there are two parts. Yeah, so there are two parts to the answer. One is we will talk subsequently in the slides about what is personal Vastu. So, or if I could say what is specific Vastu specific to every individual, we'll talk about that. But before that, when should we do Vastu? Vastu should actually be done when you select a plot, because depending on the orientation of the plot, there are only one or two entrances which are possible, and then accordingly the building gets constructed. So entrances play a very dominant role and a very important role in our lives. They are like the energy inlets for any given piece of land or building. So that is there. Then comes the location of bedrooms and toilets and where should be the mandir. There are a lot of general guidelines. I can share them with you. But when it comes to an individual, the same guidelines might change. We'll cover that subsequently.
So the question that I asked at the end was, do we gain by getting a consultant, or can we do this from the internet?
Yes, you gain by a consultant. It's something like you can go to the internet and find out a medicine for flu, but if you don't get treated yourself, you have to go to a doctor.
Right. Okay. Then one thing to note is that in DLF, there are many joint families. As sometimes under the same roof, as many as 3 or 4 families live together, or in the same plot that is surrounded by a boundary, you have 4 or 5 brothers living together. So
Yes.
this thing for Vastu is of special importance to them, because there's so many children who are all struggling to get their needs, seen to, and inevitably, like Alka said, there are fights and all that. So to gain from this whole experience of using the principles of Vastu, how do we ensure that these 3, supposing there are just 3 families living in under one roof, so how do we gain from this? And can we tweak it so that just placing the furniture in a certain direction, or choosing the pictures or something will help? Could you please clarify?
Correct. So so when there are multiple occupants and they demarcate that this is my area and this is your area, then there are multiple vastus in the same premise. Look at it like as if there is a apartment floor and there are 3 houses. The floor has a vastu, but if there are 3 different homes with families, they actually work as independent units. So in those 3 rooms or 3 sections of the house, the vastu works independently. Within that, as per which is the direction good for child education, the kids can sit there and study. Which is the best room for the husband and wife to sleep in? What's the place for valuables? Accordingly, allocations are done. But yes, it could be done for joint families. It works well.
So it could be done later also, because a lot of the houses
Yes.
are not Vastu
Yes.
compliant. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. My next question is that people poo-poo money, say, oh, it's not important. I think in today's world, if you want to gain and attain your goals, it's very important. I mean, it does not have to transcend everything, but at least it helps you get somewhere. So in a Vastu compliant house, does it firstly ensure mental, a point where money flows naturally? I mean, it's not like you can just sit back and say, okay, I've got this Vastu consultant, so he has said now if the rooms are in a certain way and so on and so forth, then money will just flow. But I think one has to work hard for it also, no? So what do you have to say on this?
So for money vastu, the way it works is that the home as well as the office or the factory both are taken together. The primary place for generation of money is the office or the place of profession. That is what generates the money. From a home perspective, the money should grow, or the money should at least not get fizzled out in expenses. So sometimes what we have seen is that the entrance or the color or the decor of the home is actually emanating a hyper expense kind of a situation. So there is enough money that they have been able to earn from the vastu of their office or factory, but then only so much is getting saved. The rest of it is getting invested into unproductive ventures, or it is getting stuck someplace. So both taken together ensures that there is money which gets generated as well as saved.
Thank you. How about physical and mental well-being? How are they impacted by, consulting a Vastu consultant?
Right. So there are 3 directions in Vastu which can generate either a health issue or anxiousness. Uh, Specific to an individual, there could be a direction in which if the person sleeps, then their anxiety goes up, or they may face health issues. So it is something that needs to be matched. The good thing is that for an individual, for his or her lifetime, the directions which will emanate money or health issues or whatever life affects are fairly constant. They don't change. So if you can get to know your directions, then you can accordingly align.
Okay. One of the many questions that are asked is that, everybody is living in a house already, right? And not everybody had heard of Vastu at that time or found it was important enough to consult somebody. So how can we improve the Vastu in, say, a flat or a house already built? How can we do
Right.
that?
So, yeah. So for example, if I'm being called upon by a resident, and they say that we have prospered after coming to this house, but there have been some health issues that have cropped up, and they linger on. We look at what are the entrances effects, what are the sleeping bedrooms, do we need to change some of them because they're emanating health issues, or we look at colors, whether in upholstery or in terms of paint. Sometimes in one of the recent cases, I saw wrong placement of Wi-Fi was emanating hospital visits. So the minute we changed it in 15 days, it came down. So it really depends on every residence configuration. We don't have to break walls or flip the architecture over to get an effect. It is fairly doable.
Okay. Everyone wants to live happily ever after, but the sad fact is that, just like there are some people who don't believe in religion and they are hardcore atheists. So there are a lot of people who don't believe it's in Vastu or Vastu consultants. I'm so sorry to be so bold about this,
That's
but
fine.
this is true. And they just poo-poo it, They said, oh, I mean, forget it, Who wants to spend money on this when we already, have got so many other expenses. So if they do not have the correct Vastu, according to the Vastu consultant, are they condemned to live unhappily ever after?
Okay, so the answer to that is, Arunaji, that nature takes care of most of our all basic stuff. So most of the Vastu is generally in compliance. All right. If the Vastu is not suitable to the residents or to people working in an organization, it will generate issues. It doesn't have to be Vastu compliant. There is nothing like a Vastu compliant home or office. It's a marketing gimmick. If you are staying in a place and you find that you don't have anything more desired or anything unfulfilled, your Vastu is perfect. Take an advice of Vastu expert on an area which you have not been able to fix with all due efforts. All right. So automatically, most of the things are in order. Don't worry.
Okay. And I'm going off course a little bit now. Could you just expand a little bit on the myths surrounding Vastu?
Yes. Why don't I get into talking about general Vastu, which is where the myths are emanating from, and then I'll talk about
Okay.
personal Vastu. All
Okay,
right.
we can do that.
So let me take 5 minutes of your time and tell you, what is general Vastu and what is all that we hear on the internet. So general Vastu is basically based on the elemental theory. There are 5 elements: earth, water, fire, space. There are directions which have been allocated. Feng Shui has its own directions. In Vastu, we have certain directions in which water should be the prominent thing. So you would hear guidelines like the boring should be in the northeast, or there should be a kitchen in the south. So all that is coming from the element theory of what are the allocated directions for the elements, and accordingly our activities are aligned to those elements. So one should sleep in the southwest. So there is a whole lot of literature which is available generally, and a lot of it is being followed. This creates a very big list of do's and don'ts, which creates a belief pattern in people. See, a lot of people walk into the belief or the signs of Vastu when something is not working out in their life. So they move into a new house, something is not working, they struggle with it, and then they land up with the Vastu person. The sad truth is that most of the Vastu people, we don't have a body of knowledge. We don't have a professional body like a Institute of Chartered Accountants or an MBA. So there is no standard curriculum. So the guidelines are mostly practice based. So One person would come and say something, another one would say something, you would hear a entirely different thing on the internet, and there is all confusion. My question to most of these people when I started off on my journey was, does one space give the same result to everyone? In one space, if 5 people are staying, everybody is not getting tense, everyone's income is not getting bottled, everyone is not facing the same health issues. It cannot therefore be Vastu alone. Let me now take you into what is personal Vastu or specific Vastu, because Vastu actually behaves differently. The energies impact every individual differently. Personal Vastu is the study of directions based on owner or the family members' planetary placements. Yes, the basis for Vastu is not just earth energies and directions, it's actually planetary energies as well. In fact, at a point in time in the Vedic in the Vedic era, Vastu was actually a section in astrology. It was not an independent science. All right. Accordingly, entrance directions, owners sitting, bedroom, study, drawing, or in a factory or in an office, the various things are actually best allocated and designed as per planetary placements. This is something which then becomes specific, and sometimes you would see that you would read something and you'll find, oh, I have a kitchen in the southwest as per Vastu norm. This is incorrect, but it is actually not generating any problem for you. So that's why there is a lot of myths. What we do, I in specific, what I look at is a chart of a individual, which gives us what are the colors for them, what are the directions for them, what should they be doing in which direction, which gives them a specific impact very early on. Then the next step is to look at a layout like this. We allocate directions based on where the north is. We come up with then, in which direction what needs to be done, or if there are some remedies, etc. The remedies that in this age which we go along with are zero structural change remedies. We treat toilets with some color strips or metal strips. There are images which are put in a zone or any direction to activate through the use of colors or through relocation. We don't go around breaking homes, which is virtually impossible now with the flat structure and offices which are already pre-built. That's virtually impossible to do. Let me quickly take you into a couple of case studies, which will give you a flavor of what are the kind of results that come across when Vastu is done. This is a case study of an industry. There was a question on industry. This is a case study of an auto ancillary. This is a company based in Mumbai. They have multiple factories, one in Gurgaon, one in Pune now. So this is an ancillary unit. At a point in time, they were pioneers in their segment. The CEO and the MD personally look after sales because there are very few customers with a lot of business. As per Vastu calculations, for them, north direction was the direction which was supposed to give them deals. Now, when I visited their factory, they called me because their sales had been at an all-time low for the past about a decade. What I found was that in the north side, they had scrap which was stored there, which was creating a block in energy. In the north side of the head office as well as the factory office, they had urinals. Obviously, they didn't know. They thought that they should not have it in northeast, but they placed it in the north, and that was draining away the energy of their new deals. Treatment was prescribed. They did the treatments. In 6 months, they started signing up new big clients. They got enough work to set up an additional factory in Pune, which has been commissioned this year in January. In fact, they had a very good cash flow. They acquired a similar company in the UK. So the growth started to happen, but this is again a classic case of something which is specific to this organization worked. As per the norms, you can have the toilets in the north. This is our layout looks like. This is the north direction in which they had scrap stored. So we didn't have to go through breaking around the factory or moving stuff. We just had to treat a segment of the factory and it was done. Let me share another case study of an architectural firm. This is an architectural firm based in Delhi. In 2017, they had about 10 to 12 residential projects in hand. When I met them, I was doing Vastu for a client of mine, and the lead architect said, he, does Vastu work. So I got down to give him some recommendation. So we did some office balancing. Office balancing or Vastu balancing is where you have a rectangular or a uneven sized office or a plot, and we go around balance it through our some of the tools. Customer and cash flow zones were activated for them. They were also suggested some personal activities. Now the minute you get into some field of astrology as well as Vastu, the personal activity section becomes very important of what you should be doing personally, so that you are consuming the right energies. Wi-Fi was relocated in just about 2 years. They had 3 to 4 times the number of projects. They're actually now running out of space because they don't have people to seat in that organization. So results happen and they remain constant. This is one of the largest manpower provider in India. They had a terrible problem in 2014 where they were able to collect only half the money from their customers. So against a billing of 15 crores, they were only able to recover 8 crores. They had done everything by the book. They had done collection notes and legal cases and everything, but they were not able to collect. So there was an entrance which had become active in their head office, which was giving them failure in collection. Remedies were suggested. Today they are at about 800 crores and growing fast. So one of the question that came was that what gives effect? Energy of any space that you own or you stay in is connected to you. So a home in which you stay affects you. A factory that you own also affects you, even if you're not sitting there. Land which you own, but you're not staying there, it also impacts you by way of ownership. And office, but obviously. So when you will come to a Vastu person and you'll say that this is what is happening in our life, we would have to study the layouts of all the properties that you own or control for us to know where the effects are emanating. It is so scientific that it actually, in most discussions with my clients, it comes out that after they bought a particular land, a specific issue came, or after they bought a particular office, their revenue doubled. So it is very specific. It is not a general thing. Yes, there is a lot of confusion around it, so we don't see too many case studies floating around, but it is fairly scientific. So that is my share on personal Vastu and some case studies. I'll open up it back for open discussion. Arunaji?
Yes, Adarsh. So my question to you, which I think would be of interest to everybody, is that when one goes to a Vastu consultant, such as yourself, do you guarantee 100% that things will change for the better and positive energy will flow?
Well, the guarantee is not really required, if you ask me, because it's if you ask me, it's more diagnostic based. I might take 2 or 3 meetings just to diagnose, and then we do something to see that what's the impact. So let me give you an example. If there's an organization which moved into a new premise and their orders started to get stuck, they're not able to convert orders. When I go in there, I don't guarantee them that if you get Vastu done, you will start to have 100% conversion in orders. It's a process. I work with them over 2 to 3 months. I give them a set of remedies. We see what the effect is, and then they report that yes, there is a different positive reaction from the clients, or what is moving or what is not moving. So generally, they will not have a problem in all areas of their life or their business, and they would not have 100% relief or remediation just by one visit. So I, in specific, remain away from the concept of Vastu visits, which is a good cash generating model for us, but the client may not get the full results.
So you charge by the visit, and not.
No, I charge by a project. I charge by a
Okay.
project, and especially in commercial projects, I work purely on a fixed fee basis, and we spread it out. And sometimes it does happen. I won't say that In all the cases, I get 100% result. Sometimes I have discovered something after a year, and I have gone back and given them that remedy, and then stuff has worked. It's see, Arnaji, we can't see this. There is no defined body of knowledge. So it's mostly experience based. It's all learning and experience based. So we don't, but then we are not charging a bomb. So don't worry. We are not asking for an inheritance here. So there is no guarantee that's really needed.
Okay. I think we'll now open the discussion to the house. So if
Yes.
you could unmute, and then the questions can come. So what's the first question?
Yes, I would like to ask Adarshji, what are your charges for a house and a normal person?
So
All
Adarsh,
right.
you can also give a
Yes.
range. You can also give a range, in case if
All
it's
right.
not.
So no. I'm pretty comfortable with my charges. See, it depends on what is it that you need to get done. It is really by the amount of time you're going to make me spend. I'll say I typically don't want to work on a visit based model. It's a good model for us. It's a bad model for you. So if you tell me that there is a relationship issue and I come there, I see something, I tell you two or three remedies and it doesn't go away, then you will always be on your back foot ki isko fir se bulayenge. Once you call me again, then you will have to pay me again.
Correct.
So I typically remain away from it. I'll tell you, I have charged from anywhere between 25,000 to 25 lakhs. It really depends on if it is a big township that I'm designing or it's a small case that I'm taking up.
No, I was talking about individual houses like we have in Chhatarpur. Everybody lives in a home. So if one of
Yes.
us asked you to, give us remedies, and what would we approximately be expecting to be charged?
Well, I would say in the vicinity of a lakh of rupee, but again, I would say it depends on how many questions you throw at me.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Adarsh, hello.
Yes.
Yeah, Adarsh, my question is, you talked about success stories, right?
Yes. Yes.
Was there any failure story?
Yes.
What was,
Yes.
like
There,
there?
yes, there have been couple of failure stories. The failure stories emanate in two situations. One is personally, some organizations need to do stuff. So, for example, there is a timing in which people need to do international travel or a specific type of business. If they are doing a business which is not suitable to them, Vastu can't help them. There is an energetic template of every individual carries. If they don't follow that template, it doesn't work. Sometimes they do remedies which we won't maintain the remedies are not maintained. So there are most of the cases are where the suggestions are not being followed. I have had two cases where I've gone back after 2 years and told them another set of remedies. So the purpose here is not to make money, but to bring tangible changes in lives through a science.
So according to you, it is only, it's a 100%, success if we follow your suggestions. That's what you are saying.
If you follow Astro Vastu suggestions, yes.
That, okay.
That was very well answered. Yes.
Next question, please.
Yeah, may I?
Please go ahead, Manu.
Yes.
Adarsh, I really want a reconfirmation of the fact that you, when you advise, it's, there's no, you don't believe that there should be breakages and that sort of a thing. You can, the way the present house is, can stay the way it is, and you can still advise on the corrections.
Yes. I have worked on high rises. So if I'm working on some M3M or Magnolias, I can't go around breaking their house. Not possible.
Yeah, I suppose so.
If anyone wants to get in touch with Adarsh, they will have to do it through this particular number and name. So if you would like to write it down.
So the number is 98107
Yeah.
37023. And you have to ask for Amu. AMU, Amu. So anybody wanting to get in touch with Adarsh can talk to Amu and get in touch.
Can you please write the number in the chat box? It will be easy.
Yeah, Sanjeev has already done the necessary.
But you haven't written Amu.
Sanjeev, please write Amu along with it. AMU. Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
And who is Amu?
Well,
Amu is
the person who's going to answer the phone.
That's right.
All right.
You don't need to know everything, Manu, huh?
I try.
A little mystery always helps.
Adarsh,
Yes.
if no one else is asking right now, can I ask you what about plants? How are plants related with Vastu? Are plants really related to Vastu? Do we put certain plants in certain places, or we don't plant certain plants at all in a residence?
So plants give oxygen. You should use the ones which give you oxygen and not the ones on which you have too many owls and stuff like that. Typically, thorny plants denote a lot of fire energy, so we suggest not to have them inside the premise. They are actually representative of a barren land, so they invoke in our subconscious feelings that there is lack of opulence. That is the only thing to be taken care of. But the rest, I go by the ones you can maintain and which looks nice to you. I go by that.
But there's
Hello,
nothing
can I
like
ask a question, please? Hello, Aruna ji, can I ask a question?
Yes,
Yes,
of course.
please.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is Purushottam. The question I need to ask you is, over the years we have learned the traditional Vastu, that southwest should be this, northeast should be this, and all
Yes.
these things, right?
Yes.
But sometimes some Vastu Pandits come and say, no, even if your house or your plot is not the way it should be as per the traditional Vastu norms, it
Yes.
can be corrected by doing certain measures, which can be anything. Somebody does put certain things or does certain colors or make certain changes. So you
Yes.
think the basic traditional, the concepts of Vastu, can they be rectified through this process, or these are just remedies just to nullify the effect? What exactly is it?
All right. So when we say traditional Vastu, it's actually general Vastu. That southwest is a good place to sleep. I had an architect who slept in the southwest, landed in a hospital in 10 days. See, try and understand that every direction has a planetary impact, which is different for every individual. You have south-facing homes. I mean, if a client asks me that, is a south-facing home good or bad? There's a popular myth south-facing homes are bad. I asked him to go around GK, Civil Lines, Basant Vihar and see how many south-facing homes have got a Merc or a Beamer in front of their house. They're not dying. They're making money. So the general guidelines are for people to, generally follow. But you are a specific person, the specifics will apply.
So you mean to say you will also look into when you look into the specifics of a person, what do you mean? You look into the horoscope of the person?
Yes.
So you combine the horoscope of the person with the Vastu principles, and then you come to a solution.
Yes. That is the only way it can be. I have done a lot of general Vastu, and I have realized that the same premise is good. Okay, let me ask you this: if there is a high rise in any area, let's say take an example of a high rise. There is a 10-story high rise. In a particular wing, all the houses are similar, same entrance, same place they have the kitchen, same place they have the toilet. Is everybody getting the same effect?
Right. But
They are not getting this.
According to me, Vastu is just a part of one's life. You cannot alter one's destiny with Vastu.
You'll have to experience it, my friend.
Okay, so you are saying that the Vastu along with the horoscope or the destiny of the person can be modified if they're done the right way. Am I right?
Yes, destiny is when we run out of options and we have to console ourselves. We say it is destiny. There's a difference between a educated person making only maybe 10 lakhs a month, and there is a person who's uneducated but he's minting 10 crores a month, and we say it's destiny. I have matched it to the Vastu, and I know exactly which plot is actually emanating money for them, honest people with toilets in the cash flow zones are begging in front of banks and they're still not getting money. See, there is a big chance that you have not played your life in honestly, and therefore you have landed up in a bad vastu. But if your vastu is right and you're still suffering, you have to be doing something really wrong.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to question?
Yes, yes.
Manu has a question.
Quick question. Going back to the plant thing, you said that the thorny plants, which would, I suppose you mean cacti and all, thrive in depravity. So
Yes.
they're not good to have in the house. Would you also put aloe vera in the same category?
No, I won't. Aloe vera is not anything which is medicinal is good. I won't worry. See, a cactus also I would not worry much, but the point is that it has, see, sharp pointed objects are not something that we keep in the house generally. But having said that, I have places where somebody's Mars is very good and we have put in swords or stuff like that. Yes, heads of animals killed and too much of violent photographs are not good for a home. That's not good. So it is just a general guideline. There is no big rule which says that a neem plant will generate this energy or a people plant will generate that energy.
So you will,
Because normally,
you will say,
sorry.
so sorry.
Please
So
go
you
ahead.
thanks. So you will then study the horoscope of the person,
Yes.
decide what's good for them.
Yes.
Different people in the different, there are going to be different people in the house. Then how are you decide what is a general purpose? Like my wife, my children, they might all have different horoscopes.
Yes. Yes.
Friends to the house and so on will be the same for all.
Yes. I understand that.
And
so their room allocation will be different. They'll not be staying in the same room. They'll not be doing the same thing. They don't require the same thing. For someone, the health is an issue. For some, them education is an issue.
Correct.
So that entrance which is giving a child an education might tomorrow be a detriment for marriage. That is when your issue will emanate and you'll say, oh, why is the marriage not happening? We are looking at so many grooms, but why is this happening? So a different set of issue will arise at a different point in time, which will get remediated, and there are tools to do that.
Okay, I get it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
There's a question about Wi-Fi placement.
Yes.
So what is the best placement for Wi-Fi?
Who asked that question? Please
It's in the
this
chat
is-
box, Veena.
Yeah, please ask it yourself.
Shobit, go ahead.
Yeah, I am Shobit. I am asking this question as a lot of Wi-Fi is placed now everywhere in the office as well as. So, sir के कुछ remedies में I could see he has written Wi-Fi placement as one of the solution. So, sir, उस पे कुछ बताइए.
देखिए Wi-Fi, what is Wi-Fi doing? Wherever you place the Wi-Fi is actually emanating the vibration of that particular zone and spreading it across your home. That is what it is doing. Yeah. Right. Now, if that zone is good or neutral for most of the people in the house, everything is fine. So if you don't have a problem, don't worry about the Wi-Fi. But if you think that after I boosted my Wi-Fi, the health issue for my mother, which was okay, has now suddenly gone up, then that could be a cause of concern.
Thank you.
Typically, if you don't have a problem, your Vastu is fine. Don't worry about the Wi-Fi or the entrance or anything.
Okay.
Adarsh, I have a question. I admire your confidence, and it is actually showing on your face. That's very nice. I just want to know that when the person is most vulnerable, then he goes to consultants in most of the situations, right?
Correct.
So there is always a chance of overdoing what you are suggesting.
Okay.
He thinks that all the solution to his problem is only this. In those situations, how do you guide that person?
All right, so I have clients who, let's say, I'll give an example. I have a client, they are into they are railway contractors, and they were having frequent breakages in all their projects. They stay in Anand Lok and they have an office elsewhere. So this person would call me after my first visit. He would call me virtually every day. I would get a message that Adarsh ji abhi bhi ruka nahi hai. The customer is angry on us, and this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening. So I'm giving him remedies. I'm patiently going through it. And now it's been 15 days. He's not calling, and then his daughter calls up and says, things are good now. Everything is fantastic. Everything is settled now. But payments bade phase hue hain. They said, I've given you a remedy for one of the issues. Now you're telling me another issue. I'll tell you this. So we had a call. We worked on that. Then they said, okay, now the payments have started to flow. I said, see, now you're moving problem to problem. If somebody has a cash flow issue or somebody has an issue with, oh, my daughter is not getting married, they get married. Then the next question is, isko bachcha nahi ho raha. Oh my God, no, she should, oh, she's not getting along with it's your problem statements. Our problem statements in life will always change. There is no one fixed solution. Everything will get done and we are sorted for a lifetime. But where does Vastu come in? Vastu comes in when, by doing whatever generally we are supposed to do, we are not getting the results. We are against a dead wall, or stuff is becoming really difficult. Things were good, but then, and you will mostly be able to pin it to a change in the decor, a new property that you've added. I'll tell you, if Vastu is impacting you in business Vastu, when we look at it, let's say you hire a finance guy, and then after hiring the finance guy, you suddenly have an issue with the banks. It could be the finance guy is incompetent, or maybe he's sitting in the wrong zone. If he's incompetent, you'll have to judge it. I can't judge it for you. But if it is his Vastu which is wrong, I can come in, I can tell you exactly where what are the results will emanate in the direction in which he's sitting.
Okay. I think that's beautifully answered. Thank you, Adarsh.
Yes. Is there anybody else? Would anybody?
Yeah, I'd like to ask something.
questions? Okay, go ahead.
आदर्श, आपने बोला कि बिजनेस केसेस आप लेते हो, तो बिजनेस में बहुत सारे लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं और बिजनेस इटसेल्फ भी एक अपने आप में एंटिटी है. जैसे आपने बोला कि प्लेस ऑफ जो प्लेस है उसकी डायरेक्शंस भी मैटर करती हैं. तो करेक्ट, इफ यू वर टू कंसल्ट फॉर अ बिजनेस, तो उसमें जो और स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, शेयर होल्डर्स हैं और फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, उन सब लोगों को आपको स्टडी करना पड़ेगा या बिजनेस को आइसोलेशन में स्टडी करने से हो जाएगा?
नहीं, देखिए, जो बिजनेस, मनी विल अक्रू टू ओनर्स. Money will only accrue to owners. The employees or the CFOs are only executing their task. Let's say there is a CEO in a company, and after he joins the company, goes from 200 crores to 2,000 crores. You're going to still pay him X salary. The money will generate to the owner. So who is the ownership team? Primary owners, not all the shareholders. That needs to be looked upon. उसको स्टडी करना होता है.
फैमिली बिजनेसेस में उसमें क्या होता है कि सारी फैमिली इज ओनिंग द बिजनेस, बट somebody is taking care of one business, somebody else is taking care of second business. So उस केस में,
so then it is control.
Apply?
Then it is the control. See, a CFO, if his stars are good or bad, or is in the wrong zone, it will only impact finance. It will not impact sales. So if you as a business owner, you are looking at one business, your control is only on that business. So if that business is doing well, the Vastu is good.
Question is कि मेरा इस समय कोई specific problem statement नहीं है. If I could just...
आपका वास्तु ठीक है.
No, my question to you is कि हम इसको क्या general assessment भी कर सकते हैं कि अगर हम आज यहाँ हैं और यहाँ जाना चाहते हैं, what could we consider? Or
yes. Clients come to me कि we have reached 350 crores, but we are happy at this level, but I don't know for what reason for 10 years we have not been able to breach this level. So see, again it comes to that there is a situation which you have not been able to change with all your effort. You are happy with wherever you are, but you want to go further and not happening. Then that is the statement we work upon.
Got it. Thanks.
Very interestingly
connect with you.
put.
Okay, there was let me just coin a question. There was a question: rented versus owned. Does a rental property impact me, or does a owned property only impact me? Any property you operate out of impacts you. If you stay in a hotel room for 7-8 days, even that impacts you. I have been a sales trainer, and I have relooked at the hotels where I stayed, where I did fantastic job versus an average job, and I could see that the decor and everything impacts you. One doesn't need to be finicky. that, oh my God, Adarsh ji ne bola tha yellow color hona chahiye, so now this hotel has black color, so I'm going to die there. You don't have to be finicky, because short-term things don't happen like that. But if you are aware, then you can use it to your advantage.
Sir, I
Alright,
have
got a
one.
question.
Yes, Suchitra ji, bataएं.
Hi. So I'm so sorry. I have joined your session only now. I just got free from work. So I'm so sorry. I missed the most important parts, and Vastu interests me a lot. So I just wanted to know, do you do private consultation for homes, offices? So I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'm sure you must have already, this must have already come in the introduction, but
Yes, I do.
I had missed it because I wasn't there in the. I
No
only
worries,
just
I
logged
do.
in.
Yes,
You
the
do?
answer is I do.
Okay, perfect. So I'll get your number from Reena ji, and
Sure.
we will.
Chitra, yeah, I'll
Yes.
give you the number. The
Yeah.
name and the number is already on the screen. Sanjeev
Okay.
has shared it.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
It's on
Perfect.
the
Right?
chat box.
But
Suchitra.
if
It's in the chat
you
box.
miss that, Suchitra, you can call me anytime. Okay?
Sure. 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 I will.
Okay.
This was such a. I'm sure this must have been a very, very fascinating, program.
Yes,
Thank you for organizing it.
it
Alright, so
was, and it
there are some.
continues to be. Huh?
Yes, there
Yeah.
are some questions that are coming in the chat box.
Yeah.
One is
Yeah.
that, is an oval shape a good one for an office? Well, I'll go by again that, it really depends on what your issues are. If you don't have an issue, an oval is fine, a triangle is fine, a circle is fine.
Sir, I have a
But
question.
Adarsh, I would
You
like
know,
to add to that.
Adarsh-
The Oval Office in Washington DC has worked
Yeah.
for all the presidents, except perhaps the present one,
Right.
who's facing a lot of trouble. So what do we do? Huh? What does he
See,
do? Rather?
see, this is again.
change the president.
Yes, save the president. Yeah.
So basically, we should consult Vastu only when there is a difficulty or when there is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, you can go to a health practitioner, that if you want to have a better health, and they'll give you some guideline on nutritional benefits and this that. But if every day you are running to a doctor, ki, oh, मुझे तो लग रहा है मेरे को सर में दर्द है, I may be having a brain tumor, he's going to do a series of tests and then tell you yes or no. But the problem with Vastu or any of these is, why this has become belief based is because we hear, oh, I have belief in Vastu. It is going to emanate. Earth is rotating. We are moving through space. There is a vibratory field which is getting generated. It is there. Okay, so let me put it like this. We knew since ages that we need air to survive. The tools told us that it is oxygen. So it's like that. It's like there is a vibration. Everybody feels that, oh, when I sit in this room, लड़ाई हो जाती है. इस जगह बैठते हैं तो ऐसा feel होता है. We know those spots in a house, or where the kids are a bit restless. In this room they are able to sleep. We know all of that, but we don't know what is the science behind that. So we think that it is our belief, or it's our feeling, when there is actually a mechanism to find out.
Sir, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Sir, I want to know the planetary positions, they always keep on changing for every individual, right?
Yes.
So how can there be a solution that lasts long, because the positions keep on changing, the fields keep on changing, and that's how they impact you.
Yes.
So if that
Yes.
keeps on changing, does the remedy also keep on changing for every individual, and the directions and everything that you mentioned, like you gave an example of scrap being there in the factory yard in the north
Yes.
side or something like that, So does that also
So
keep
Ankit, what
changing?
will Yes, so Ankit, what will change is the movement of planet through the various signs. That will change. But for you, a planet, if it is giving you a specific effect, so for example, Alka ji said at the beginning that, if you keep a rose quartz, then it generates. Rose quartz generates the energy of Venus. That's a constant. If your Venus is good in your chart, it is going to give you a good effect, whether it is of whatever nature. If your Venus is bad, वो divorce भी करा देगा.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, I take back my words.
No. It's not that. See, something has worked for us, so we go out and we prescribe that to everyone. But from my perspective, I cannot prescribe. If I had to prescribe general remedies, I would write a book and give it to you. Then you can do it yourself.
Adarshi, can I ask you a question?
Ji.
Yeah, the thing is that do you decide on the Vastu remedies of a place based on the astrological chart of the people who are
Yes.
occupying that place?
Yes.
Okay, because
I do
I'm
only
sure
on that basis. Yes.
every south facing house is not bad. I've seen a
No, no,
lot
no,
of
no, no.
people living at T points who are very successful.
Yes.
So,
So this,
it's
see,
not.
this is again a concept of oh, it's a myth, and we fall in these myths either if we are not objective. If so, what I'm trying to promote in this group is that if you don't have a problem, your vastu is fine.
So tell me
Why
one
do you want
thing.
to call
What
someone?
kind of remedies do you recommend? Do you recommend breakages, or do you recommend colors, or what do you recommend?
There are no breakages, Sujitra ji. There are absolutely no breakages. Stuff like you can relocate your room, relocate your Wi-Fi, use another entrance. There is a whole list of remedies, but there are absolutely no breakages that are typically required.
Oh, that's very, very good to know, because some people want you to break half your house. It's not
Chitra,
worth
these
it.
questions have been asked and answered. What I'll do is I'll send you the video recording tomorrow.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right?
you
So
so
there's a
much.
question.
Thank
There's
you
a question in the
Adarsh ji, I
chat
have a
box.
question.
Ji, bataya Anand ji.
So let's say your vastu is dependent on the center of your house or your factory, right? So
Yes.
if you outgrow that plot size and you expand to the left or the right, then does the vastu go haywire?
It doesn't go haywire. It's only a couple of directions that will change, because let's say you have a plot which is, when you enter, it is in the east. You are entering from the east side, let's say, and if you change the center towards the west, the east entrance will remain east entrance. It won't change. It is the north and the south which will change. It will not go haywire. The positionings will change, but yes, there will be a change.
Okay, so
The
in
minute
that
your
case,
center changes, impacts will definitely change. It could actually be for the better. In quite a few cases, it can actually be for the better, for all that you know.
okay, so in a house, let's say, because let's say one part of the house is already built, and then you add another piece of land, then let's say the bedroom were in the west, and then now suddenly, let's say that changes, right? Because if you,
it can change.
Okay.
The minute you construct an additional property which is a continuous property, then the center will change. In some cases, we get something additionally constructed so that the center changes in such a way that the entrance and the bedroom and stuff comes in the right place. It doesn't have to be a full construction. It could just be a shed or something.
Okay, so that's basically case to case you decide.
It has to be case to case. It cannot be in general that, oh, this person is sleeping in the northeast, so let's make something towards the east side, so then now this person will start come in the north part of the house. That these are extreme cases where the person can't shift to anything in the north, and then you have to do it. It really depends on what is the functionality required, and is the person capable of doing it. There are various ways of achieving that without doing this. But yes, your question. So an example, one person has a factory and he thinks, okay, now I'm going to expand, let me take the adjoining factory and merge the two. The vastu will change.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions, anybody? Or should we wrap it up now? Any more questions? I have a question actually, Adarsh, and this most people have been asking, so I'm just repeating it. What is the difference or the similarity between Basto and Feng Shui?
Well, honestly, I've not gone through Feng Shui professionally, but I think both of them are based on the flow of energy. Feng Shui gives a lot of stress on the elements and the flow of energy. But again, if you look at Feng Shui, which is available online, you would see that, oh, the south corner is for this purpose and the northeast corner is for this purpose. See, try and understand that if you have to create a larger organization, for me to create a large organization and a practice, I would have to standardize stuff. If I have to go chart by chart, home by home, there are only so many cases I can do. So if I have to commercialize Feng Shui or Vastu, then I come up with a standard set of recommendations which I give to people at a fee. and then I'm done. But the standard set works for some, doesn't work for many. That's the way it is. Harsh truth.
Right. My own experience about Feng Shui is that I was in Singapore many, many years ago, and the Hyatt Hotel was in the doldrums. It was doing really badly, with no clients and very few customer walk-ins, even for a meal and so on. And all the Feng Shui practitioner did was to tell them to change the direction of the entrance of the hotel by angling the gates the glass gates in a certain way. And that's all they did, you know. They didn't break the hotel or anything like that, but they just angled the glass gates.
And it made a difference?
And yes, I mean, you go to the Hyatt Hotel, you won't get a room today, but even then it was fabulous. So I
You should get some Feng Shui consultants over to India also.
Yeah, I guess so, yes. But they're very much more radical. They're not as knowledgeable, I find, as Adarsh, because I had a friend living there, an English friend married into a very rich Chinese family. And they suddenly their fortune started to dip. They got a Feng Shui practitioner, and he said, all your good luck is going down into that hole. The house was on top of a hill, and the hole was the swimming pool and tennis courts below. So they took a very radical decision. They just filled up the swimming pool. But their luck changed for the better, I have to say. So I think there's many, many similarities. And you will be asked this question many times, over and over again. So having said that, should we wrap up for today?
Anyone else? Any latecomers or anybody else wanting to ask?
Anyone who wants a video recording, please mention it on the chat and we'll send it to you. Some are already with.
Yeah, can I come in?
Yes,
yes, Amitji.
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Hi, Amit.
I've been listening to you. I just need some clarification. See, this is about Southwest. Usually everybody says the owner of the house or owner of the organization should place himself in Southwest. Correct. And to my surprise, I went to a place and I saw owners who's not sitting in the southwest direction. And I asked him the reason why you're not sitting in the southwest direction. He says, I don't want to take any responsibilities upon myself. So that direction commands a lot of responsibilities and a lot of work. So I want to keep myself away from there. So, I mean, can you throw some light on that or something like this?
All right. So, see, Southwest in Vastu, in general Vastu relates to a person executing stuff. In the olden days, when there was a breadwinner of the family, they typically didn't have a big business. They used to do stuff, whether they were a carpenter or someone. So Southwest is actually the zone of skills. They needed skills. So they would have the skills, they'll go out and do their work and they'll come back. Over a period, a general concept was fed in that it is the zone of stability, relationship and skills. So please start sleeping there. I have clients who sit in the Southwest because for them, Southwest is giving them deals. I have clients for whom Northeast is good or they have to sit in the East. So it is by what is it that you're going to do. It is not by directions per se that this is the attribute of this direction. So accordingly, it is to be taken.
Oh, so it cannot be a direction specific standard. Like Southwest is a standard for authority. So it is not like. So tomorrow, if I want to place somebody with a great skill set to us, I mean, suppose the Southwest suits that particular work, so I can make him sit in the Southwest.
Yes,
instead of
they won't become the owner. Yeah, if somebody sits in the Southwest, they won't become the owner. No.
No, the only thing is the skills are enhanced and becomes in a much more commanding position.
Yes, but then see, you need skills in the organization, so you can't have everybody conceivably sitting in the Southwest. So what you do is that you can have your tool room or your software files or something there, so people will become skillful. That's it.
That's it.
You can't have the whole organization sitting there.
Like Southwest, I mean, should be always for the owner or something like that.
No.
Yeah, that notion. Usually, a lot of the Vastu consultants, they usually dispense some notions like this. So it is not
I know.
like absolutely true. That's what I meant.
No, it's not. It's not a standard.
Thank you, Adarsh. I
Thanks.
think we're going to wrap it up. You must have a dry throat by now. So many questions and so many answers. It's been a wonderful talk. And I'm going to request Alka Bajoria to give the vote of thanks. So Alka, please do so.
Thank you, Adarsh. It's been lovely. And of course, personally, I was quite amazed. And I was questioning why you turned from a CA to a Vastu consultant. But now, listening to you, I think you are an excellent Vastu consultant. I don't know too many, but from whatever I've heard, and like a couple of people said, you've got that confident look on your face. You know you can help people. So well, congratulations to you and all the best to you. Thank you so much for answering
Thank you for having
some
me.
of our questions, which was so kindergarten stuff, but
No, it's
answering
fine.
them so patiently. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Everyone
Thank you.
endorse that. Thank you for your
Adarsh.
patience.
Thank you.
Sanjeev.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes,
We're
and
done now, Adarsh. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions, a lot of people wanting your
Yes.
number.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you again.
Thank you.
so once again,
Sanjeev?
I like to thank Adarsh from my side for graciously
Thanks, Sanjeev.
accepting our request to be here and answer everyone's questions. So today we had a huge number of people turning up. I think it was almost like 50 to 60 people came, and it was a very engaging talk, right? Lot of questions. I think one of the most number of questions I've seen in any of the talks.
Very interactive.
Finally, one thing I must add, I mean, this is a very humble person who supplies us with the internet connections in DLF. I want to thank Mr. Bitti personally, because he stationed somebody in my office here just so that nothing goes wrong with the internet connections. So thank you very much. Very unassuming, humble person, but we should not forget such people, right?
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you once
Thank
again.
you everyone for attending.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and so we'll close the session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great
Thank
session.
you.
Thank you.
Great
Thank
session.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you, Adarsh. Talk to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.